It was the 2008 Heller decision that changed the game in terms of individual rights to bear arms. The Supreme Court of the United States had not established gun ownership as a personal right outside of the context of military service until the 2008 Heller decision. Genius. So the court did decide that the Second Amendment guarantees an individual right. A police officer from DC, he sued, he wanted to be able to hold his gun. The court ruled in his favor, and that expanded how individuals can carry weapons. However, the Supreme Court did not take away the right to regulate how guns are utilized in this country at all. But for the Tomi Lahrens of the world, her ilk, be careful, study the history, because that Second Amendment had racist tendencies in it, just like most of the United States Constitution. In other words, it was to keep Black folks under control. So when you talk about luckily, I wasn't around for my opinion to have been heard. Well, again, there were people who look like me who were around and who could not have their opinions heard because they were chattel slaves. So you want to talk about lucky? It was unlucky. And this country, again, was founded on racism and bigotry and anti-Blackness. And we got a lot more work to do to form a more perfect union. Genius. Jessica, I can't with this chick.
You know, she comes from the kind of political faction that's very much against subsidies and handouts, but she's letting you live rent-free in her head, Senator. The thing about this is, if you wanna be, which Tomi Lahren and people like her do, this kind of political nerd that gets really into the Constitution, gets really into the political theory and uses that to profess what people should want from their government, even if it's against their self-interest. The one thing she's neglecting is that in any good democracy, you have a social contract, which oftentimes comes in the form of a constitution. And in a democracy, everyone should have a say in what's in that social contract. And it's about time we update the Constitution. And the only reason Tomi Lahren doesn't want to do that is because it benefits her as a white woman in society. And she wants to cling on to that power. And she doesn't actually want to live in a democracy, but she wants to profess to her base of followers that listen to her because she professes hatred and satisfies the part of them that wants to keep playing with their guns. But at the end of the day, she doesn't have the mental fortitude, if we were to reach the point where it's time for a new social contract, to actually come up with good public policy and good governance. And she's only relevant because she's picking fights with people like you who has the mental fortitude to talk about what a good society and good government would look like.
You better go ahead on, Jessica. She does not have mental fortitude. You better underline that, underscore, bold it, put a message in a bottle on a train. Not on Southwest Airlines. She does not have the mental fortitude. And Jessica, one other very important point that's in the preamble of the Constitution, which none of these geniuses ever talk about, but to promote the general welfare, to ensure domestic tranquility. How about you underline and bold that? Genius. Tomi. Yeah, I am in your head rent free, baby. Please find something else to do.